I started working in glass when I was in graduate school, and I was there because I was in grad school as a furniture designer in the woodworking department, but the head of the crafts department was a glass blower, so I would have to get him to sign papers for me, and I'd go over to the glass blowing studio, and I was entranced with the whole process of blowing glass. And so I took it as an elective. At the end of my first year, I transferred my major from woodworking to glass blowing. The core philosophy goes back to my teen years when I was studying Eastern mysticism and very interested in a book called the I Ching, where by studying one piece of the universe, you can gain an understanding of the whole universe. So I related that to glass by looking inside the material, beneath the surface of the glass, and likening that to meditation. So that was where the early pieces came from. And then as the work evolved, lots of other things came into play, other formal considerations such as pattern, color, structure, all get worked into the philosophy and into my investigations. The process of making a piece of art starts conceptually with deciding what it is I'm going to do, visualizing in my head what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, and then answering a series of questions for myself. What's the goal of the piece? What kind of piece it is? And then what colors do I want? The colors are decided by a number of various factors. For example, I have a series called the Jon Kuhns that I partner with my friend Paul Stankard, and I use one of his pieces in the center, and I do my work around it. So in a sense, I'm framing the Stankard. So the Stankard essentially becomes the launching point for what I'm going to do with the colors. And sometimes it depends on what I've been doing lately. You know, if I've been working with cool colors, so on this next piece, maybe I want to work with warm colors. Or if I've been working on cool and warm, maybe I want to do something clear. So I've decided now what I'm going to do with the colors. Now, the technical part comes in at that point. I'll cut it into strips and glue those strips down to a piece of 5mm glass, which then gets ground flat, and then I put the colors together with some lead glass in between, and start the process of making the core material. If you're looking at a cube, that the color is all there in the center. That's at the core of the piece. It's the soul of the piece, if you will. And then there's a process of continually adding on. So it's an additive process. Once I have the core, add some clear glass on two sides, then two sides, then the last two sides, and I keep on growing it that way. After the components are glued together in this room, we're in the glue room right now, or assembly room. They move out to the grinding and polishing room, and there's lots of industrial equipment out there for grinding things flat and then polishing it. I recognized early on that if the process or the philosophy is all about something that's so perfect, then the technology, the technique has to be as perfect as possible too. The only way to get that is with industrial equipment. So I can grind things perfectly flat to within a 10,000th of an inch and then get a really good polish on it. Once the components are polished, they come back into this room and two polished components are glued together. Then it goes back out to the grinding and polishing room. And it comes back in here, back out there. And it does that a couple thousand times, and eventually out pops the magic. We have a finished sculpture. That rainbow obelisk is it's monumental and it's important. Count the bars of the rainbows.
12.
Okay.
13.
Right, okay, you don't need to count. Next one's 12. The numerical significance of this is 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 adds up to 49, which is the number of people who lost their lives in the Pulse nightclub.